What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and I love to talk about all things Peloton, cycling, and fitness, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I am posting every single day up until Christmas. This video is part of Vlogmas, but after this month I will post every single Sunday, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any new videos. I am in New York for the weekend, so I thought one of my Vlogmas videos could be a sit-down Q&A, also just like chat, catch you up on what's going on in my life. I feel like I don't get that many questions from subscribers, but the ones that I do are fairly common and they're asked a lot. Like people DM me, people comment, ask me questions, so I thought that I would just address everything here and answer any questions that you guys had. So I wrote them all down here and I'm pretty much just going to go in order. I kind of grouped them. So first I'm going to answer the questions that are more about me, and then I have more like transition into like Apple Watch, echelon, some other more fitness questions. So the first question was basically, what do you do for a job / can you talk about your job more? And the reason I don't talk about my job on this channel really is because I think that it would be boring. It is not that exciting of the job, although I do like it. I am a software engineer, so the majority of my job is coding. I code in Python and Java, and I've been at the same company for almost 3 years now. It's the first job I've had out of college, and I've kind of bounced around and done a bunch of different things for this company, but currently I'm working on playback experience. So there's a lot of user uploaded content, which then I try to play back videos to other users, trying to make the videos that we're serving to be really good quality, but then also cheap, because serving videos to a lot of people is actually very, very expensive on the internet. Even if you think about YouTube in itself, the fact that they store all my videos and then play back to people, like obviously they make a lot of money off of ads and they're definitely profitable, but it is an expensive operation. So at my company, I try to optimize that operation. I think it's fairly like interesting work. I will say, I think a lot of people hear software engineering and think that you don't interact with other people, that you just code 100% of the time. And that's definitely not true, at least where I work. I have a lot of meetings where we're brainstorming on new ideas of what we want to do and trying to like debug past things that we've done. I think that there's a really great balance of talking to other people, being social, like working together on a common goal, and also like having your alone time, grinding out the code. I like both. Like I definitely think that I lean towards more of the introverted side, but only slightly. Like I still enjoy a lot of extroverted quality. Like I wouldn't be happy if I just had no meetings all day every day and like never got to talk to anybody. Like I like talking to people at work, but I also really value the time where I can just kind of work through technical problems. My major in college was computer science and applied mathematics, so this is kind of what I'm meant to do. I like to grind out problems. So that's pretty much what my job is. I am remote, thankfully. My company went remote obviously when the pandemic started, and then since then they said that you can apply to be remote permanently, which I have done. Just for my personal situation, like my boyfriend can't really move because he's going to med school, and when I committed to a job in San Francisco in college, he didn't know where he was going to go to med school yet, and for computer science recruiting, you have to commit in the fall of your senior year. It's very, very early, so I committed with hopes that he would also be in San Francisco, and he was not. So the fact that I can go remote and be more flexible where I'm living is a very, very nice perk, and I honestly really like working remote. I think my life has drastically improved since going remote. I have way more time to work out, pursue other interests, like even having a YouTube channel. I think I would struggle with going into the office every day because that just took so much time. So that's all my updates on my job. So on to the next question, which is, do I fall off the like healthy lifestyle, the bandwagon, and then how do I get back on it? And the answer is yes, I fall off the healthy bandwagon. I'll indulge some days. I don't consider it to be a bad thing. It's part of life. It's something that I enjoy, especially when I go on vacation with friends, and it's not easy to make your own own food and you have to eat out. I know you can make healthier options when you eat out, but it's definitely something I struggle with. Like, of course, I want to order something that I really, really want to eat when I'm out, and it happens. And I think that that's okay. In general, I don't think that I live like a super healthy lifestyle, or I don't participate in dieting at all. I eat dessert almost every single day. I really enjoy dessert. I do try to make healthier options, and especially now I'm trying to just add more fruits and veggies into my diet. I did see a TikTok that really resonated with me, and it said when you're looking at a meal and you think that it is unhealthy, think about what you could add to it to make it more balanced rather than what you could take away. And I really like that now. So like if I'm eating something that, you know, would typically be considered unhealthy, then I just think, could I add a serving of fruits? Could I add a side salad? Like stuff like that. And I think that does make a really big difference. But if I do eat unhealthy, like I went on vacation with some of my friends a month ago and we ate out for every single meal for like 5 days. And when I came back from that, like obviously I didn't feel as well as I normally do because we were eating out every meal. But I just kind of came back and tried to get back into my routine. I also don't believe like if I ate really unhealthy for one day that the next day I should try to not indulge myself at all. Like I still am allowed to have dessert for the next day. Dessert is the really big thing for me. So I just think that if you try to limit yourself, like you're just set up to fail more in the future. At least for me, I do not have a lot of self-control, so I need to be able to eat my desserts. But kind of a long-winded answer, but yes, I definitely fall off the bandwagon. I don't eat healthy all the time. I was hoping that Vlogmas would kind of show that. I definitely try to do like balanced eating, and then I really, really enjoy spinning. So that can also help me balance my eating with like staying fit. My next question that I got was about my Apple Watch and comparing it to a Fitbit or other fitness watch, and I've never had any other fitness watch besides the Apple Watch, but I will say that I consider the Apple Watch to be more of a lifestyle watch, which is not what I considered it when I bought it. When I bought the Apple Watch, my boyfriend's family had just gotten the Peloton. I've been riding for probably around a month and a half then, and I really, really wanted a heart rate monitor, but I didn't know a lot about Peloton at that point. I didn't know a lot about fitness at that point. I didn't know like what brands to trust with heart rate monitors. And B, I was also very interested in the other features that the Apple Watch had offered. I really wanted to like get texts on my wrists. That I feel like that's a really big one, get all kinds of notifications. And I also really enjoy the feature that if your camera is on, I can see the lens through my Apple Watch, which makes filming very easy and taking pictures very easy. I feel like I use it a lot. If you're not a YouTuber or somebody that films well, you probably won't use that a ton, but overall, I definitely like the lifestyle features more than the heart rate monitor. At the end of the day, I think that the heart rate monitor is decent on the Apple Watch, but if you just have the Peloton bike, it is very hard to connect. For a while, I was using a third-party app called Blue Heart, but then at some point that just became more trouble than it was worth. It would take me a lot of time to try to connect it, and then it would fail, and then I'd have to reconnect it. And at the end of the day, I didn't feel like having that heart rate information with Peloton was that important. So at that point, which was probably over a year ago, I only used it for a couple months before giving up. I just started doing indoor cycling workouts on my watch while I was on the Peloton, so it still counts the calories correctly, but I just have no integration with the Peloton. I do think that the calorie counter is fairly accurate in Apple Watches. I know everybody says that any tool that counts calories is not accurate, but I think that the Apple Watch is based on like how much I eat and then how much it says I burn. I don't count my calories, so I don't know exactly, but it feels right. And I also feel like it kind of keeps me mindful about how active I'm being, especially on days that I don't work out. Like that's fine, and I definitely need rest days, but that doesn't mean that I only want to burn 50 calories for the day. So if I'm not doing a workout, like can I go for a walk? Can I run some errands? That is just going to keep my body moving a little bit for the day. And I feel like having that calorie counter like helps me keep that in mind. And I do not close my move ring, which is like the calorie goal, every single day. You set that at whatever you want it to be set at. I have mine set at 600, which fortunately I can hit most days, but sometimes I don't, and I think that that's like totally okay. But a very long-winded answer, if you're just looking for a heart rate monitor and you don't care about the other features, I would not recommend the Apple Watch. I don't really have a ton of experience with the other heart rate monitors out there, but I feel like there are definitely cheaper options that will do a better job than the Apple Watch. But if you also are interested in the lifestyle features, if you want a calorie counter, I think that getting notifications on my watch actually makes me less dependent on my phone, because I can set my phone down and I know if there's an emergency, like I'll feel it on my wrist essentially. Or if I get a notification and I just glance at my watch and I see it's like a Snapchat from someone, I know I don't have to go pick up my phone and like get on my phone because it's just not important. I feel like it actually helps me disconnect from technology, which is funny because I think most people would think it does the opposite. That's my opinion on the Apple Watch. I don't know if I will buy a new one when this one breaks, but this one's over a year and a half old and it's still in pretty good condition. I really have no complaints, so hopefully it'll last me a long time. I do wear it pretty much all day, every single day, so I definitely have gotten good use out of it. The next question I get a lot, which I have addressed before, but I totally get if you don't watch like every single one of my videos, you might be confused, is what happened to my echelon. So when I was living in San Francisco, which was up until July of this past year, I bought an echelon the previous summer because I had come back after quarantining with my boyfriend and his Peloton. I really, really loved spinning, and I honestly just wanted to stay on that grind. I had tried running for a little bit, but I just really like how low impact spinning is compared to other cardio. So I invested in a bike because gyms were still closed at that point. I got the Echelon X15 from Amazon. It was $500, and then I streamed Peloton classes on my iPad. I have a ton of videos about that bike in general and what my setup was like, but overall, I really, really love that bike. I thought it was a great bike for the price. I honestly don't feel a riding difference in the Peloton at my parents' house or at Chris's house compared to that bike. And if I didn't move to LA and live with my boyfriend, I would still be riding that bike. I can confidently say I would not pay the price difference to ride on the Peloton. The leadership board has never been important to me, and honestly, even beating my personal best over time just has not become something that I really care about anymore. And I feel like those are the biggest differences between the Echelon and the Peloton. So I would 100% stay on the Echelon, especially since I had access to a Peloton account. I didn't even have to pay the monthly fee. I just paid the $500 flat and could use my boyfriend's and now my parents' Peloton account to ride on the Echelon for free. And I just thought that was amazing. Definitely the right choice for the time. Right now, my Echelon is actually in Los Angeles. We brought it down from SF because I didn't sell it in time, but that was honestly my fault because I listed it like 3 days before I was moving and I didn't have a car to like deliver it to anyone. They had to come and pick it up, and not a lot of people have cars in San Francisco. Probably not the best place to sell the bike, so we brought it down to LA. It's kind of just been sitting there since, like TBD what will happen to it. I think I'll probably end up selling it, but if I was ever in a situation where I didn't have access to a Peloton and I wanted a bike, I would just buy that bike again. I cannot recommend it enough. I literally had no problems with it. It rode so smoothly for an entire year, and you can see like I ride a lot of miles. I was probably riding on average around 500 miles a month, so that thing took a beating. Like it wasn't like something that was sitting in the corner and not getting used. I really, really love that bike. So that is the current status. It is just in Los Angeles. I've just been riding the Peloton because obviously like if I have access to a Peloton, I'll ride the Peloton. TBD what will happen there. And then I got another question that was what I miss about the Echelon. And honestly, there's two things that I miss about it. First off, I actually like the resistance knob on the Echelon more. You have to turn it quite a bit to go up in a number. And I find that the Peloton is just so finicky. Like it's so hard if I want to hit like 45 resistance to turn it correctly to 45 resistance on the first time. Like I'll pretty much never hit it correctly. It'll always go to like 47 or 44 and then I have to adjust it. And I honestly don't think it's that good of a user experience. And then the other thing I miss about the Echelon is just kind of the lack of focus on metrics. Like obviously I had all the metrics I needed. I had my output, I had cadence, I had resistance, but not constantly seeing on the screen if I was in those metrics, like the Peloton, it like lights up if you're in the correct cadence and resistance. the echelon doesn't do that, right? Because they don't have a connection to Peloton. And I actually like that because I felt like I could personalize the ride more to myself without being so worried about hitting the metrics. I know at the end of the day, like, you just need to do what's right for you, but I feel like Peloton even now stresses more to be in those metrics. Like at the end of the ride, it tells you what percentage you were in the cadence and resistance, and that doesn't really mean that it was a good or bad ride if I was like in resistance or cadence the whole time or not. Obviously, I love data, so it's nice that Peloton has that information, but I kind of miss the more carefree riding experience. I never got on the echelon and was like, oh, I need to PR today, because I couldn't PR. I was just there for the ride, and then I didn't even spend a lot of time looking at past rides. I was kind of just doing what I liked, got on the bike, got off of it, never thought about it again, never had to see that output again. If it was a good ride, if it was a bad ride, didn't matter. I did it, it was done. Wasn't going to think about it again. I did have a Strava integration that would record how many miles I biked each day, so I liked looking at that, but like for output, does it really matter if I got 410 output on a ride or 430 output? It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So it's nice Peloton has that data, but I honestly miss kind of not having that data on the echelon. And then another question I got about the echelon is kind of like the difference between Peloton and echelon cycling. And for me, it isn't that difference. I mean, I already touched definitely less of a focus on metrics, which I liked. I would also say that there is a very strong online community for people that don't have the Peloton and are using different bikes, which I really liked. But when you're actually riding, you like don't really feel a connection to the Peloton community. Like no one high fives you, because I don't even think you show up for bike users and stuff like that. I just feel like without the leadership board and the metrics and like seeing people's milestones, you feel a little bit less part of the community. It's not that big of a deal, but I do notice a difference. And then the biggest difference for me is the echelon had toe cage pedals, which is totally on me. So I use normal sneakers to cycle. I could have bought SPD pedals, and if I ever go back to the echelon, I probably will, because I really like using biking shoes over sneakers. So those were the big differences for me. Honestly, for the change in price, I think the echelon is still the way to go, but I am riding a Peloton now, so definitely take that with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, definitely would recommend the echelon. Those were all of the questions that I got for the Q&A. I hope I answered it. If you have any more, like, feel free to leave them below. I like to talk about myself and my opinions, so I'm always down to answer any questions that you have. And then I thought I'd end this video with an exciting announcement if you're still watching. So my boyfriend is in his third year of medical school, and in your third year you do like 6-week rotations in a bunch of different specialties like internal medicine, OBGYN, surgery, all kinds of stuff. And he has a family rotation starting in January, and his family rotation is actually in Oahu, Hawaii. And thankfully, since I am remote, I can also go to Hawaii with him. My boyfriend and I are leaving for Hawaii on January 8th, and we're there through February 9th. So definitely watch out for that. I'm not exactly sure what kind of content I want to produce for my YouTube channel during that time. I'm definitely still going to post. I'm not going to take like a month break. I think that there's a lot of cool things that we're going to try, so possibly vlogs, but I also kind of wanted to make videos about how I'm going to work out, because I'm not going to have any equipment and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. So if you have recommendations, please let me know, because right now my only ideas are boxing, body weight strength, and running, which honestly, if I just do those three, it wouldn't be bad. I don't feel like I need to do like intense workouts. I want to enjoy my time in Hawaii, but I also do enjoy working out, so I don't want to just not work out for the entire month. But I'm very, very excited. I've never been to Hawaii before. I realize that this is such an amazing opportunity to have, and I think that it will be a lot of fun. Also, if you've ever been to Oahu, please let us know anything that we should check out. My boyfriend's been doing a ton of research and already has some great things planned, but we're always open to suggestions. So that is it for the video today. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope that you guys are having a fantastic weekend. I will see you in my next vlog tomorrow. Bye!